up, YouTube? T-Roy here with another cool video on check out my guitar collection. We're here in big beautiful Deer Park, Texas at T-Roy's Music and Lesson Academy, and I thought I'd do another installment of the so far a two-part series. This will be the third part to that series of check out my guitar collection. So those of you who have seen it, thank you, I appreciate it. And the ones who haven't seen it, you might want to go back and check out parts 1 and 2, or you can check this one out first and check those out. It's not like they need to go in any particular order. But I told you in recent videos that I thought I would do these in parts of 3 because I have a fairly large collection, and I didn't want the video to be ridiculously long, so I thought, well, I'll do them in 3s. That way I can tell you a little bit about the guitar, a little bit about how I acquired it, maybe a little bit of back history on it, which is kind of cool. And so that's what I'm doing. So today I have 3 more really cool pieces. Again, they may be guitars one day, they may be acoustics or electrics, they may be basses, they could be all kinds of instruments, but just to show you my stringed instrument collection, more than anything, guitars. So I do have 3 more, and want to get those started, so let's get going. Alright guys, the first instrument I'm going to show you is this guy. This is a Padula 5-string. This is a limited edition Padula. I got this a long time ago. This bass have had so many miles on this bass. I have done so many gigs with this bass. I made quite a bit of money with this bass. I played it in my church. I played it on church gigs where I was paid to play, but then I also played it in bands, many bands, many places out. But it is a 5-string, of course, a quilt maple top, back, even the control plate is made of quilt maple. It does have a three-piece, I think, neck on it here, but it's a neck through. You can see construction. But this is a MVP 5. I got this bass. It's a cool story, but I got this bass back in I think it was 1990. It's a long time ago. I've had it for years. It's got a lot of miles. It's got some war scars on it, little dings here and things, but it's still an amazing bass. I play on it. I teach on this bass too. I play on it a lot when I play bass. I play guitar way more than bass, but I do still play bass fairly often. I do get calls. Sometimes people would rather me if they need a bass player, because bass player is a lot harder to come by than guitar players, guys. If you learn bass, a lot of times, a lot of guys will tell you you'll have a lot more work if you're just a freelance player. So anyway, but yeah, I got this back in 1990, right after I graduated. My mom and dad had told me I had seen this bass. Let me rewind. I had seen this bass from a guy who is a famous bass player now. Some of you may or may not know him if you're a bass player, but his name was Mark Fain, F-A-I-N. Mark, at the time, was playing for a gospel group, a southern gospel group called Gold City. My dad, through his music store, which I worked for years and years, of those of you who know the story, I go back and check out some of the videos, kind of tell you a little history on my journey through this through the music industry. I had my dad sponsored the concerts through his store, the big southern gospel concerts in the Houston area, always. So we went to quite a few of them when I was young, and at the time, there was a guy by the name of Mark Fain, played for a group named Gold City. When they'd come through, he would always play a Padula. At the time, I didn't know what it was, but I thought, man, that bass sounds so good. And I thought, man, it's not just beautiful, but it was just the tone was amazing that they got out of this bass. So I thought, well, I'll go talk to him, because luckily I had access to him because of my dad being the sponsor of the concert and so on and so forth. So I got to go, after the concert, and was able to talk to a lot of the guys, got to befriend them, and I got to meet Mark and got to be good friends with him. We exchanged numbers and got to be pretty good friends over time with him at that time. But he was playing this, but he said, man, yeah, come on back. And he handed me his bass and said, play on this bass. I played on it, and I absolutely fell in love with this bass. I was like, man, I got to get one of those at some point. Of course, I was a very young kid that didn't have a whole lot of money and thought, man, I'll have to save up forever for that. Well, Mark also, real quick, story was playing through an SWR. If you remember SWR Redhead, they don't make them anymore. And I absolutely, the cab was just amazing too. That was before Fender ever owned SWR. This is back when SWR was SWR, and it was really a great bass cab. So fast forward the story a little bit. I non-stop talked about this bass for a long time. Well, my mom and dad decided as my graduation present they were going to get it for me. It was a surprise. Well, they surprised me, but they allowed me to talk to Michael Padula, who owns Padula Guitar. And we became a dealer through my dad's store, and I was on the phone with Mike, told him exactly what I wanted in the bass, exactly the pickups. Of course, Bartolini was real big with them at the time, and they were not quite as big as they are now. A lot of you guys know of Bartolini. A great pickup, but I told him the pickup configuration, what all I wanted, everything. And at the time, it was 6 to 8 months before you'd get a bass. You ordered it, and it took a while to get to you. So patience was definitely not a virtue of mine at the time. I was a young kid, and I waited and waited and waited. Finally got the bass in, and it was a disaster for me because the bass came in. It was this bass, not this exact bass, but it looked the same, but it was fretless. It was their buzz bass, and I was like, oh no, and I don't know how that got messed up. But I immediately called Padula, talked to Mike and said, hey man, here's the situation. This is wrong. And he was great about it. He said, man, I'm so sorry. We will get to work on, send it back, send us a call tag, or I'll send you a call tag. I sent it back. But the bad part about it is it was another 6 months before I got the bass, my real bass. So it took me almost a year to get this thing, and it was a long wait for me. So I got the bass, and this is it, and it was amazing out of the box. I fell in love with it. Got to tell him all the specs, anything I wanted, everything came in that box when I got it that day. I was just like, amazing. And later on, as I got a job, I did save up money and bought my SWR. I wanted that little Redhead amp also, and I played through that for years till my amp got stolen. It's another long story at one of my music stores that I used to own. And I'll tell you all that one day. That is a crazy story. I actually slept in my music store and caught the guy, but it's a long story. But I'll go into that. If some of you want to hear that, y'all put it in the comments below, and I'll definitely talk about that story at some time and show you some of the clips and some of the news stories on it. Actually, the news company came out and did a live feed from the store, so it was crazy. I'll stop talking about that. Yeah, this is my 5-string Padula bass. But also, I was talking about Mark Fain. I know I'm jumping around here, but Mark, the guy who was the guy who I had this bass and played it, he went on from Gold City to play with Ricky Skaggs. He still plays with Ricky. He plays at the Grand Ole Opry all the time. Plays with all kinds of big names. But Mark is a great bass player. If you haven't followed him, check him out on Facebook or wherever. But he posts where he's going to be at and everything. But he does play with Ricky, but he plays with many other artists too. But he's in Nashville. This is where I played this bass, his particular Padula, many years ago, and that's where I got the idea. I wanted this bass, and my parents were awesome and got it for my graduation, and I still have it. Never will get rid of it. I absolutely love this bass. This is the one I play 90% of the time when I do play bass. Yeah, this is my 5-string MVP Padula. I think it's a 1990 or a 91. I think I ordered it in 90, but because of how long it took, it could be a 91. I can't remember. But yeah, it's an amazing bass. Still plays great, sounds great. Have had no issues with it. I set it up from time to time and keep it clean, keep good strings on it, and still going strong. So that's it, man. Go to the next one. Alright guys, the next guitar I have, this one isn't guitar, is this guy. This is a 1998 Buck Owens guitar. It's in red, white, and blue sparkle, they call it. Of course, this is basically a copy of Buck's 1960s Telly that he had that was red, white, and blue. If any of you guys are Buck Owens fans, you'll remember it and know he used to play it all the time. He played it on Hee Haw. Of course, he played his acoustic on there too. That was red, white, and blue. They actually make one like that too. But this is a a cool guitar. This is a Japanese telly, and you know I talked in my last video how amazing the Japanese tellies are. Japanese makes comparable guitars to, in my opinion, Fender guitars to the USA models. The USA just hold their value better. Yeah, the Japanese make an amazing Telecaster, Stratocaster, all the Fender guitars, but that's what this is, and I've bragged on them, and this one's no exception. But this one, they made 250 of these between 1998 and 99. Then I think they made another 280 from 99 to 2007, and then they stopped making it. They don't make this anymore. You can't get them. You can find them on Reverb and things like that. I would never get rid of this one either. This is, again, I've talked about it. Probably won't do a whole lot of getting rid of my guitars, but I do play this one. I love it. If you notice, I put some red, just something different, some of the DR strings on it, and they're one to try them out. Had been a long time since I had played any of them, and so far they're pretty good. I just done that. Typically I don't restring them in red, but I thought it'd be kind of cool. I had a pack that I was gonna put on a guitar, and I thought, well, you know what, I'll slap it on this guitar. But yeah, this is a limited edition, of course. Like I said, they only made, so let's see, total 530, I think, ish, 530 over the entire duration of making this guitar. But they started 98 to 99, the first 250, and this is what this one is. It's a run there, but it's really you can see I don't know if you can see the limited edition on the back plate, but it's really a cool guitar, and it has been played. You know, it's in, I would say, pretty near mint condition. There are a few little scratches and dings, but I don't care because they're mine, and I'm not selling it anyway. I absolutely love this guitar. And I love the look of it. I think it's cool. Some guys probably are like, I don't know if I like but I just think it's really a cool guitar. And if you're a Buck Owens fan or a country music fan, it probably would appeal to you even more. Just the colors, if you know of Buck's guitars. But yeah, I think Buck died in 2006, and in 2007, right after he passed, is when they stopped making this. I'm sure because of his passing had a lot to do with it. So they don't make this anymore. I know I already said that once, but that's why they stopped in 2007 from what I understand. Yeah, this is a Japanese telly. Amazing build quality on these Japanese tellies. I would literally put a lot of them up against the USA models, and I think they would hold their own just as good. They're just amazing quality guitars. The money in this one, of course, is worth way more than what I paid for it back in the day. But anyway, yeah, this is my Buck Owens limited edition Fender Telecaster, Japanese Telecaster. So hope you guys like that. Let's go on to the next one. Alright guys, the next guitar is my McPherson. I know some of you have seen this in other videos that I've done already. I did a shootout video with this and another lesser expensive guitar. But this guitar was a anniversary gift. I know if you saw my other videos, I do get guitars for anniversaries. Seems like every anniversary I get a guitar. I don't. But I have gotten 4 or 5 over the years for anniversary gifts. And this was totally unexpected. This is by far the most expensive guitar I say we have ever purchased. My wife bought it, but she and I, obviously, my money's her money, and her money is her money also. I'm just kidding, just a joke there. But yeah, this is an amazing, this is probably my favorite guitar, obviously favorite acoustic. I have played the heck out of this in gigs. I know y'all gonna laugh and think I'm nuts. Even my students tell me that, but I do teach on this guitar a lot. I just love the guitar. I'm very careful with it. I baby it. It is my favorite, by far my favorite acoustic that I own. And that includes some Martins and other guitars. Not that I'm knocking Martin, they're amazing. I absolutely love Martins, and I'll get into those as I show you and tell you what I like and what I don't like. But yeah, this is a McPherson. This is a MG 3.5, which means the bout, if you see how it tapers, this is 3.5 inches here. They do a 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5. As far as, and the 5 is a normal full size, but this kind of tapers down through. If you guys can see how it does. So this is an MG 3.5. It has an Engelmann spruce top. It has Macassar ebony back and sides on it. Striped Macassar ebony, by the way. Striped Macassar ebony back and sides is what they call it, and it is beautiful. The inlays around it, I mean, I know this, what I'm doing probably doesn't do it justice, but it is just an amazing piece of not just artwork, but the sound, the tone, the guitar is amazing. It just really is. When you plug it up, I mean, it is definitely studio quality, but the price is ridiculous. I know that, guys. I'm not. Most people wouldn't own a guitar like this because they think it's nuts, unless you gave it to them or they just were a millionaire with money to blow. But the reason I own it, it was a total surprise. My wife, surprised me with it, and at the time I bought it, I didn't pay near what the price is now for these. I've seen this guitar on Reverb brand new, this exact guitar, for $14,300. I know you're like, holy smokes, I am too. I didn't even pay half that for this guitar, and it was brand new. I had a dealer friend who was a McPherson dealer, and the way McPherson's set up their accounts is not your typical, you don't purchase it from them. It's almost on a consignment deal, and I'll go into that later. I'm not going to get deep into the weeds on that right now, but I do want to tell you, I did pay less. I still paid a lot of money, more than I've ever paid for any guitar. I say my wife did, but we had gotten some money returns and stuff, and this was a big anniversary for us, and she was down determined that I was gonna have this guitar. She's awesome, she's amazing, she spoils me, but I do spoil her, for the record. I did put that in my last video. It's not a one-way street. We both we have a great marriage, and she's amazing to me, and I love this guitar. It's just an amazing piece of work. If you've never played a McPherson, I'm not saying go buy one, but if you treat yourself, if you ever find a place that has them, they are amazing guitars. Now, this one also has an amazing case that comes with it. The cases are ridiculous. The cases are $600-700, just the case. When I saw it and they told me, and I looked them up online, I was like, holy smokes. But they are beautiful, amazing cases that come with these guitars, and they're not only works of art. When you look at the quality, I mean, they're just pristine. They're perfect. They're exactly what I expect when you pay this kind of money you should get, and they just are butter to play. They sound amazing, and yeah, I love this guitar. Thank my wife again for it. It's just I'll never get rid of it. It is my player. I play this guitar as much as I do any guitar. I do have a couple Strat that I play almost as much, but I probably play this one more than I do any guitar, and I really love it. So yeah, this is my McPherson MG 3.5 Engelmann spruce top, striped Macassar ebony back and sides, and this is a 2008 model, if I didn't say that already. So yeah, that's the next 3 guitars, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the videos on these, and again, I love to hear your comments. Please comment in the box below. Give me your comments, give me your questions. If you have something you want me to do in the future videos, I'm going to try to do it. Please, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up, and consider subscribing. We'd love to have you guys, and that's it. So remember, guys, play like it's your last day. We'll see you guys later. Thanks.